Hello world, Shelly here, and today it is a beautiful day for another Friday foundation fix, where you can get your foundation review fix in between foundation fests. And today we're going to check out another one of the new launches on Ulta's website. It is a European brand called Note Cosmetics, and I am going to check out their Luminous Moisturizing Foundation SPF15. This is the box that it comes in. This is the glorious little tube dispenser. It is a tube, but a kind of a fancy tube, a nice sort of fancy cap going on here. But it is just a squeeze tube dispenser. And let's take a look at some of the claims of this product. This is a brand I was not familiar with prior to seeing it on Ulta's website. So this is a foundation. You get 1.18 fluid ounces of product for $11.95. So drugstore pricing, basically. It comes in 8 different shades, not a very extensive shade range. Right now, there's no reviews on Ulta's website, so I don't have any information as to what people are thinking of this product, so my bias is completely blank. Reading their claims, it says, enhance your complexion with this radiance-boosting coverage and active ingredients in Note Cosmetics Hydrating Luminous Moisturizing Foundation. The silky smooth base evens skin tone and balances moisture levels while providing all-day makeup coverage. These natural finish shades are especially perfect for drier skin types and contain antioxidant benefits along with SPF 15 for sun protection. I would not use this as your only sun protection. Always have sunscreen underneath your makeup. SPF 15 is not enough for everyday wear, especially in the summertime, and you're never going to put enough foundation on your face to get the SPF level that is claimed on the package. This is like backup SPF, but I will get off my sunscreen soapbox and give you some more details. These products are formulated with macadamia oil and sweet almond oil, protects and balances skin tone, dermatologically tested, paraben-free, and cruelty-free. Now, since I did not have any familiarity with this brand, I decided to go onto their actual website and look at the About Us page, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Their formulations are unparalleled in texture and color, pay off, but at prices that don't break your bank. At the heart of the line are rich pigment shades in ultra-fine milled powders, blendable, effortlessly come to life on the skin. Developed by leading European chemists in their own state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, the formulas are infused with globally sourced botanical ingredients that enrich the quality of our cosmetics, enabling them to offer true skincare benefits. Our products are... That is a grammar error. Our products offer incredibly smooth textures and wear longer. Paraben-free, environmentally friendly, not tested on animals, and there's one more little page let me get to of all the other things that they don't have in their products. So Note Cosmetics also guarantees that aside from having no parabens, they also have no DBP, no formaldehyde, and I'm not sure what these 2 ingredients are, but no toluene or camphor. So all products are dermatologically tested and enriched with essential oils and vitamins. So overall, this sounds really good to me, and this particular formula sounds especially good. I have pretty dry skin, and the fact that they're claiming moisturization as a part of this foundation makes me very happy. So let's take a look at some swatches to compare the Note foundation. This is in their lightest shade 01 Beige to some other lighter toned foundations I've got in my collection. Swatch time, you know you want them. First up, we've got today's foundation, the Note Luminous Moisturizing Foundation in shade 01 Beige. Look how yellow that is. Yeah. Next up, these next 2 are actually ones that I really like the color match of. Second one is the Rimmel Lasting Finish 091 Light Ivory. Probably my favorite drugstore color match right there. Third is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus in Shell Ivory. Fourth up is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in 201 Classic Ivory. All 3 of those work really well for me. And the last one is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth in shade 115 Ivory, which is a little too dark and a little too peachy orange for me. Let's do this. I have already cleansed, moisturized, sunscreened my face. I primed with the Smashbox Photo Finished Primer. Finish? let's give this a go. Start out with a little bit. Pretty thick, not running. I'm going to do one side of my face with a sponge. This is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. And the other side I will use a brush. This is the Moda. It's from Walmart. It's that beautiful holographic kit that they've got. I like this brush. And let's see what this stuff can do. Right off the bat, I would say this is a slightly warm-toned or yellow undertoned foundation. I think with the sponge, we are getting pretty light coverage. It is evening out my skin tone just a little bit, but I'm still having a lot of redness around my nose that is not getting camouflaged. I can still see all of my freckles coming through. I'm not sure where the luminous part of this is. If I had to just give it at a glance, first impression, I would say this looks pretty matte. I'm not seeing any sort of dewiness or the things that are typically the hallmark of luminous, but let's try the other side with the brush and see how it goes. With the brush, I would say we are getting slightly better coverage. I would, however, say that this is still pretty light in terms of overall coverage, and I really feel like this is a pretty matte finish. I'm not even sure I would go so far as to call it a satin matte. I don't know where the luminous part is coming from, but it's definitely more of a matte finish to me. I would say in terms of the shade range, if you are any paler than I am, you're probably going to have trouble with this. This is maybe a smidge too dark for me. I don't think I could wear this in the winter, but you know, summertime, here's my summertime skin color, so I think I can get away with it for the little bit of sun that I've gotten, but it is definitely a warm undertone, definitely a yellow undertone. I am neutral, slightly skewed to the cool side, so I can get away with a slightly warm undertone foundation, but if you are very cool, this could be a little bit too yellow. You can kind of see the line of demarcation there in terms of yellow versus pink in my skin. So definitely a slight warm undertone. Not bad. I'm probably going to be able to pull it off color-wise just fine. Let's see if this is buildable. I have used all of the product that I had put out onto my palette. Let's do just a little bit more and see if we can get this up maybe to a medium coverage. In terms of whether the sponge or the brush is better, I think I got slightly better coverage with the brush, but I think both sides look very nice in terms of the finish. I'm going to use the sponge just because I like using the sponge, and I think they both look equally nice, so whatever your preference, go for it. It does seem to get a little bit heavy on itself when you start to build it up. It's looking just a little heavier now. I would not call this a buildable foundation. I feel like I can see the multiple layers kind of stacking up or caking up a little bit on my cheeks. The other odd thing that's happening is this foundation doesn't seem to want to cover the center of my forehead in between my eyebrows or the bridge of my nose. I feel like I can see my skin coming through, and I've put a couple coats on there and it is still showing through. Not sure what's going on there. I feel like the finish is nice. It's not luminous by any stretch. It's really a matte finish to me. I think it is slightly accentuating texture on my skin. My cheeks look far more textured than they actually are. This looks like a really dry foundation for something that claims to be moisturizing and illuminating. I'm a little bit confused by that description. I almost wonder, they do have a matte foundation as well. I almost wonder if the matte product is inside the wrong container here, but anyway, let's try this out. I'm gonna go put the rest of my face on and I will be right back. Okay, that took a hot minute. You don't know it because it took a second to you guys, but I did just film the BoxyCharm try-on for my June BoxyCharm. If you missed that video, I will link it down below. That is what I am wearing on my face, including this gorgeous Ofra liquid lip in Tuscany. I need to buy more Ofra liquid lips. I really love the formula. It's beautiful and it wears nice and it doesn't dry me out anything. Anyway, let's get back to the foundation. So, foundation. I would say it's oxidizing, but I think it's turning more yellow. Is that, I don't know. It's my liver looks like I look like I have a failing liver. I do. Maybe not with these bright lights on me, but I do. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm yellow. I'm so yellow. So maybe the color match, not great. Since it only comes in 8 shades, there's really not much to choose from. But in terms of application, I did not set this foundation with a powder because it was already looking a little bit too heavy, too dry, too cakey on me. I mean, not cakey exactly, but I could see the product in layers on my face. So I did not want to put any more layers on. I set my under eye. The concealer I used was the Maybelline Age Rewind, which looked so pink compared to this yellow foundation. Holy cow. But everything applied well. Everything blended well over it in terms of powder products. Everything in that regard went just fine. So that is where we are at right now. I took a while to film that BoxyCharm video, so it is now 4:25. I finished up my face around 3 o'clock. So we're going to call the check-in time 3 o'clock, and I will come back in a little bit with a daylight check-in as sunset is coming. We only have a few more hours of daylight, so I will check back so you guys can get a look at this foundation in natural light, and then I will come back at the end of the day with my final thoughts. Hello, daylight check-in. I could say for certain there's absolutely nothing luminous about the finish on this foundation whatsoever. It's a little too dark for me, a little bit too yellow. I wish they had a more extensive color range, but I did just get a good look in the mirror at this, and it still looks fine. We're about 4 hours in at this point, 4.5 hours. It's about 7:30 right now, and it's holding up. It's holding up pretty well. So in terms of settling into lines, I'm not really seeing any of that. It feels a little bit dry for something that claimed to be moisturizing. I was pretty excited about the moisturization part, and I'm not really feeling it right now, but so far I think it looks alright. Color match, I'll be back in a few hours for a final check-in. Hello, we are back. It's 11:09 p.m., so that means we are around the 8-hour mark. And let's take a look and see how the Note Luminous Moisturizing Foundation did. Overall, for 8-hour wear time, I think it's holding up pretty well. It's wearing off around my nose, it's wearing off a little bit around my chin, but overall I can still see my highlight, my blush, my bronzer. I still feel like I have coverage over most of my face, so I think overall it has worn fairly well. I do not have settling into fine lines. It's not really settling into the lines of my chin or my smile lines, so that's a really good thing. Those are the positives, I think. This is a comfortable foundation to wear. It feels pretty lightweight. It's not as buildable as I would like, but the feeling is fairly comfortable. As far as it being moisturizing, I don't think so. I feel like it's actually dried my skin out just a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little tiny bit itchy, and that is just the opposite of what I expected from this. The other thing about the claims it makes in terms of it being luminous, this reads as straight up matte to me. I do not see luminous going on any which way, shape, or form with this foundation. It's just not. It's not dewy. It's not satin. It's a matte style foundation. I don't know where they get the luminous from. So I don't think it's really moisturizing or luminous, which if you're specifically buying their luminous moisturizing version of foundation, they do make a matte one. Yeah, I don't think that's what's happening here. I think it did oxidize about a shade. There's a pretty clear line of demarcation between my neck where I had brought the foundation down just a little bit. So it did oxidize a little bit. It is definitely a yellow undertone foundation. I can really see the yellow coming out, especially in my forehead right now. So that's a downside. If you're any paler than I am, I do not think you're going to be able to pull this off without mixing it with like a white foundation mixer or something like that. If I had to give the Note Foundation a grade, I'm going to go C+. It's average. It wears decently over time, but it does not live up to quite a few of the claims that it makes. That said, I think it looks decent. It looks pretty good. It's not without its flaws, so it's nothing about it is really impressing me to get it to that like above average range. I would keep it in the C range. I'm going to call it a C+ because it is fairly comfortable. It did wear fairly well, and for that I commend it. It needs way more shades. The shade range is not nearly extensive enough, and it's not very impressive on the low end because it does oxidize just a little bit on the fair side of things. So it's not even as light as it started out. So that's a bummer to those of us with fair skin. So it all shakes out to a C+. That's what I think. So there you have it. Another Friday foundation fix for you. Just as a side note, I did not touch up the Ofra liquid lip, just so you could see what it looked like 8 hours later with a meal and several drinks, and it held up pretty doggone good. I need to buy some more of these liquid lipsticks, but that is for another day. Thanks a lot, you guys, for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it. Please feel free to leave a comment if you have any suggestions for foundations you would like me to look at in the future, and I will definitely try to get my hands on those. Have yourselves an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world, and take care of each other. Bye-bye.